There we go. Hey, cuties. Okay, so I want to talk about the recent movie I just saw at AMC theaters, which was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And out of all the Galaxy videos, out of all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, this third one, I would say in terms of like, I wouldn't say it was the funniest one, but I would say this one was the most heartfelt. Like, I just really loved Rocket's whole, like them telling us his whole backstory. And I also really like the redemption that, I forgot his name, but Dave Bautista's character and Mantis. Like, I really like how they had, like, they're finally, like, showing us that, like, they're not just for comedic relief. Like, they're very integral to the group. They're very smart. They have strengths that the other guys don't have, and I just, like, really appreciated that. Especially because, you know, they're always saying, like, Mantis is dumb, and, like, I forgot Dave Bautista's character, but, like, that Dave is dumb, and, like, obviously if you saw the movie, it was just so heartfelt. And don't even get me started on Rocket's backstory, but okay, I will say it kind of felt like definitely the whole movie was about Rocket. I felt like I barely saw any of Star-Lord, like Chris Pratt's character, which I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Pratt, so it was okay with me. I forgot the blue girl's name, but like Gamora's sister, she's like one of my favorite characters, and I kind of wish I wish she got her own like backstory. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's just so much depth to her, and I just wish I would have seen more. And so basically it starts off with like, so Gamora's not dead, and like Chris Pratt's like still in love with her, but she like doesn't have any memory of her life before like all this happened, because like they all thought she was dead, but she's actually alive. But I guess the old her is dead. The her that loved Star-Lord or Peter Quill or whatever, that part is dead. So it was very interesting seeing her kind of be put back into this group of these Guardians. And who doesn't love Zoe Saldana? She's so amazing. She's so beautiful. Man, can that woman act. Like, it was just so awesome. And okay, I don't even know, I don't want to make this a super long like review, but I would give the movie, in terms of heartfulness, a 10 out of 10. In terms of like action and like seeing people fight, I guess like a 7 out of 10. In terms of like comedy, yeah, I'd say like a 7 out of 10. There were some really cute moments, but I would say just the whole thing with Rocket. So if you haven't seen this movie, please don't like keep watching this if you don't want it to be ruined. But basically, like, we find out Rocket's backstory and how he was like a batch of it was like him and another group of animals. They were like a batch for like the super evil scientist that's like trying to like correct Earth's mistakes, and basically like you know, puts like all this like tech stuff into Rocket Raccoon's like body. So like he becomes like the superhuman raccoon that's like super smart. And I guess the evil dude realizes like, oh, this guy's actually like smarter than me. He figured out something I couldn't have figured out. And when it was time to like open up this counter Earth, this new Earth where all these animals were gonna live, Rocket Raccoon realized that he's like, oh, he's not gonna bring me into this, like I was just like a batch, and he's like using me. And so him and all his friends that are locked up in this cell, Floor, Teefs, and I forgot like the Ilya, whatever, the main friend, like the seal or whatever. Oh my god, it was just so sweet, like how they were there from like little kids or like little animals, and they like grow up to be like super close, super best friends. They're all just like, you know, one day, tomorrow's the day, one day they're gonna take us to counter Earth, they're finally gonna let us out in the real world. And then they find out they're not. And that scene where he's like, I'm gonna get us out of here, he's smart enough to figure out how to make a key and get them out of there, but the evil guy like catches on and basically kills the other friends, which is so sad. Like, he was taken away from his litter like when he was like a baby, and then he loses these people who he grew up with. So it's just like crazy seeing like this backstory to this character that was just kind of in the background. It was just like a raccoon who we saw in the background in the past couple movies, who was really good at fighting and flying like airplanes. And there's like a scene where he's like almost dead on like a bed. He's like almost dead or whatever. He's fighting for his life. And it's like him, like, not a flashback, but it's like him kind of going to, like, he's seeing the light and his friends are there, and he's like, no, I want to stay here. And she's like, we want you here, but it's not your time yet. Like, this story's about you. Like, oh my God, I'm tearing up again. Like, that part was just so sweet. And like, they were encouraging him to like go back, and like he needs to be there for these people now, the Guardians. And it was just such a sweet movie. And then the whole thing with Dave Bautista and all the little kids who were stuck in that like big like fucking that guy's rocket or the guy's spaceship or whatever that thing was, a floating thing with the evil dude, and he had like a whole bunch of animals and a whole bunch of like kids, and Dave Bautista just like all the kids loving him, and it was just so sweet. And it was just awesome, like that he was like, yeah, like he like ended up being able to speak the little girls, the little kids' language, and like, you speak it? And he's like, yeah, you know, like, you never asked, like, why didn't you tell us you spoke it? Like, you never asked. And it's just like, it was so telling of how like they just assume he wouldn't know how to do something, like he's just the strength or whatever, he doesn't have brains, and like he's just like the comedic relief. And I just like, I love that, like, because of him he was able to help these kids out. And I just like how everyone kind of was like going their separate ways, and it was just so nice. And I just really enjoyed the movie. I don't know if it's my favorite Marvel movie of all time. Like I said, I think I'll give it, in total, with like comedy, versatility, fucking story arc, and like the heartful messages, I would give it an 8 out of 10, to be honest. Like, it was great. I'm glad I got to see it in theaters, and seeing it in theaters with everyone else, that was really cool. The ending, basically it's like the interpretation that Star-Lord is gonna come back, and it was cool that he got to see, like, the whole movie is them telling him like, go see your grandpa. So like, we're gonna see his grandpa at the end of the movie, like in the credits or whatever, or at the end of the film. So that was cool. So I guess it's gonna be interesting to see Peter Quill like with his life on actual Earth, with his actual like human family. And yeah, I would say the movie was really interesting. Yeah, I really love Marvel. I feel like I can't talk to it at like how I feel like some people, other YouTubers who are like super into Marvel and super versed with like all the jargon and stuff. But I'm just like a humble little baddie who likes Marvel, and like I like to talk about it. So I don't know, hopefully this review is interesting. I don't even know if people watch my reviews. But yeah, if you liked this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is like so amazing. And yeah, I'll continue to do more reviews. So stay tuned, cuties. Bye.